All right, I'm here with Rachel Kennedy from the Kennedy Curate. Rachel is the person, the magician that makes you get on the first page of Google, and you're like, how do we get there? This is the lady, the woman from America that makes it happen. Rachel, welcome. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm so excited to do this. I love all of the work that you did for me, and to just be able to share how it felt for my business to have this sort of service provided to us is something I'm really excited about, because I think everybody can benefit from the products that you're offering.
We'll tell everybody, so like a little bit about you and where were you at beforehand? Because you were already doing great things with big clients, like people already knew you, but tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I've been I was a blogger starting in like 2008. So I knew that and understood the importance of showing up on Google. So my company does search engine optimization for brands and businesses and entrepreneurs. And the biggest thing that we push is having a presence on Google. So when someone searches for you, you come up. And a lot of the time someone won't like the things that come up for them because it's, old posts or something random that they can't really control. So having created content for people since 2008 that they can be proud of when someone searches for their name, I feel the deep importance of that. So for me, investing in press and PR just was like made total sense, and putting that on top of all the work I've done, creating a professional image on Google, and then knowing that anything people Google about me is going to really make me look good, make my company look good, is so important. And it's the basis of what I do with search engine optimization for my clients.
So because you had no problems of credibility and trust, but we worked together on getting you featured in Forbes. And congratulations.
Yeah.
Great article.
Yeah.
What was that feeling after we got you featured? What was some of the general responses and maybe some tangible results that you saw, maybe either more clients or general people going, wow, like I need to pay the invoice? Or what was some of the responses that you got getting featured in Forbes.com?
Three really big things. So one, I preach to my clients all day long about how you can only rely on social media so much. You can control what is on Google. You can't control whether Instagram goes down one day. So you don't want to rely on something that you can't control. I call it like renting versus owning your property. So the number one biggest thing was when anytime Instagram goes down or any of these other apps, people flood to Google for connection. And so I'm coming up and people are seeing me as an authority, and I'm actually getting Instagram followers from people finding me on Google. The second thing, so I would say probably 90% of my 20,000 something followers have been from people finding me on Google. So I even have had to put even less work into my social media strategy because Google's doing all the work for me, and that Forbes article is popping up first thing when you Google my name and my company. It's popping up and doing all this work for me. It's almost like being able to walk into a room and not having to introduce yourself because the MC's already introduced you before you walked in and everybody knows who you are. It feels really, really good. You have that instant credibility, that instant authority. And a publication like Forbes, no one's going to argue the authority of something like that. So the second thing would be, I had a lot of people immediately assume that my prices for my services were going to go up after I started appearing in publications like Forbes.
Good.
So it was immediately, I had people who were sitting on the fence who were like, oh my gosh, I need to sign up with you. And then other clients who, I had this one client, which I don't really have this problem, but I had a couple of clients who, like had to send like a payment reminder, immediately paid. Oh, I'm so excited for the work you've done for us. Please, kind of this, please don't drop me as a client thing. And then I had people who were sitting in the pipeline who were, invoices or contracts sitting in their inbox. And suddenly I had a flood of notifications from my CRM system saying that like they'd signed their contract or they'd paid their retainer. So that was very interesting to see. And I would say the third thing was definitely authority recognition among my peers. So being a female in the tech space, and especially with search engine optimization, you really just don't see that many women in this space. So I walk into a room and I immediately have more to prove than I think some of my male counterparts. So knowing that someone who's coming, like I speak on stages and I go on podcasts a lot. So if I have that authority beforehand, when someone's trying to decide if they're going to buy a ticket for an event and they see me on there, and the PR that's been put out for the event is linking to an authority driven piece like a Forbes feature, it actually helps me as a speaker and a podcast guest sell my presence at events more, because people want to have me because they view me as an authority in my space. So those three things for me were huge. Definitely, I would say the cost of the investment, the ROI I received from that has far outweighed the initial investment cost. And I would say even more than just a monetary side, but just, I mean, you can't really buy respect, but a Forbes article is really close to that.
And that sort of transitions into the question I was going to ask. A lot of people, Rachel, they don't see the tangible sometimes ROI from investing in their brand, right? Investing into, a publication, right? If someone is on the fence right now, let's say they're a female and they've built their business, or a male, or they've got the money and they just unsure, like, what would you tell them about that sort of, why should they invest in themselves and why should they invest in their brand, and especially, in the press with PR?
Yeah, I would say the number one thing as a person who sells 5-figure and above high ticket products to people, I don't sell them so much on the product as I do on themselves. So I say, if you don't feel that you're worth investing in, how are you going to convince people to buy whatever product or service you're selling? So for me, I believe so much in myself. I believe in my business. I believe in the message and the product and service I can provide to people. So for me, it was a no-brainer to say, I deserve this investment because it's going to help me fulfill my purpose, which is to reach more people, to help them get their message out on Google. So search engine optimization really helps you do that. So for me, not investing in myself means I'm not living in my purpose, and someone who's not living in their purpose is not happy. Yeah. They're just going to continue feeling like they're not getting anywhere. They're spinning their wheels. And if you can sort of, I wouldn't say like skip the line, but if you can sort of accelerate your ability to show up in front of your clients, why would you not do that? So for me, it's a no-brainer, but I do understand the terror almost of looking at something and saying, like, is this worth it? But I think the true thing is fear. People don't know if they are worth it. Right. So if they realize that they are worth the investment, I think the whole mindset completely shifts, and it suddenly becomes, it becomes this no-brainer expense. Like, of course I'm going to pay my rent. Like, of course I'm going to get PR.
Right. No, great.
It's important.
And speaking of PR, Rachel, there's a lot of people in, like in my space, a lot of people in the media space, right? What was I like to work with, and what was the feeling of from before we started, before the investment, after the service, from start to finish?
What I appreciated about your service specifically, because I'm sure everybody's like this, if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, personal brand, whatever, you get floods of DMs from these really aggressive marketing PR agencies. I get probably at least one per day. And it's, this is what we can get you in the press, we can get you in the media, these are the prices. It felt so non-personal. And with you got to know me kind of as a person first. And then you said, I think that this specific product I have will help your business in this specific way. And I've seen and heard from other people I know who've worked with you that they said the same thing. It felt very personalized. You weren't trying to sell everything that you have. You were saying, to me specifically, you just told me about the Forbes article and a couple of other products that made sense for me and my brand. You didn't try to throw the whole kitchen sink at me. So I appreciated that a lot. And then also the process of actually getting the articles written and then me looking at them and deciding how I wanted the story to go was super simple and quick. Everything was just in my inbox. It was just like a one click, look at it, approve it, make my edits. And then very quickly after that, I would get, links from you saying your article is up. So for me, it was really simple, fast process. The thing I also appreciated, because I've gotten a lot of different products from you, and a couple of our products like we're still working on, is that from the very beginning, you said this is a long haul, long-term marathon investment. This isn't just like a quick overnight thing. And for me, as someone who works in an industry where you put in a lot of effort and energy into your clients and you're with them for months, sometimes months, or some of my clients I've been with for 6 years, I've been doing their service, their SEO services for them. I appreciate knowing from the very beginning, hey, these things are going to be done quickly, and these things are a marathon. We're going to pace ourselves and we're going to stick with it till it's finished. So I appreciated knowing the timeline right off the bat could change and fluctuate, which I totally is fine with me, because anything worth investing, I think, takes a little bit of time to accomplish. And then also the ease of how you deliver the product and how easy it was to get information back from you. So it was very easy to work with you. And from the beginning, I had expectations. Yeah, exactly. The
Now,
communication
Rachel,
was very good.
awesome. Now, Rachel, so that everybody knows that you're not a pretty actress from Nashville and I haven't paid you, where can they find you and make sure that you are legitimate and you are actually informed? So where can they go and find you and stalk you a little bit?
Yeah, of course. Anyone can DM me, ask me questions. I'm at the Kennedy Curate and thekennedicurate.com. That's where you can find me. And if you Google me, I'll pop up and you'll see my Forbes article.
It's Kennedy with a K, just so we're clear.
Kennedy as in the president.
As in the president's daughter. I love that.
That makes it easy.
Rachel, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you.